The transformation of IT operations has hit an inflection point. While AI ops offered incremental improvements in noise reduction and anomaly detection, agentic AI is introducing a new operational paradigm. One where agents don't just assist, they autonomously manage and evolve complex IT systems. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Analytics Insight podcast. And I'm your host, Priya Dyalani. And today we are diving into a challenge that every business, big or small, has faced, that is IT support. We have all experienced it, waiting on hold while systems crash, dealing with ticket backlogs, or watching productivity slip as employees get stuck in digital limbo. But here's the reality. In today's digital first world, reactive and manual IT support just doesn't cut it anymore. Businesses need speed, intelligence, and resilience. And that's where AI steps in, not just to detect problems, but to fix them before they disrupt operations. And at the forefront of this transformation is GoTo, helping organizations turn IT support from a bottleneck into a growth enabler. So let's unpack how AI is making this shift possible with Mathew Philip, Senior Director and Head Global SIs and India Business GoTo. Hi, Mathew, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, Priya. Thank you. And good morning to you and all the audiences listening into this. And thank you, Priya, for having me on your podcast. Look forward to this conversation around AI rewiring IT support here. So look forward to our conversation.
Definitely, Matthew. I look forward to too, and I'm sure our listeners are also excited to, get more insight from an industry expert and leader like you. And it's a pleasure to have you with us on a podcast today. So,
Yeah, thank
before
you.
we get into our core discussion as to how AI is, transforming IT support, we would first like to know more about a GoTo. It's a very catchy name, I must say. So, if you could help
Yeah.
us understand more about the company, its specialization, it would be great.
Sure, Priya. So GoTo, or we were also known as LogMeIn, right? A lot of folks listening in would know us as LogMeIn, right? Which we recently got rebranded as GoTo. We've been a global leader in cloud communication and IT. We built our products on practical innovation and customer first approach. And our secure, reliable, and AI-enabled solutions are simple for small and medium businesses to adopt, as well as can scale seamlessly to enterprise needs. As an organization, we are around 2,800 employees, nearly $1 billion in revenue, with tens of millions of users worldwide. We've been there around now 22 years since our inception in 2003. Long before remote work was even a buzzword, we've been there. And GoTo's portfolio, which is of academic interest for the listeners, would include flagship products like LogMeIn Resolve, LogMeIn Rescue, and GoTo Connect. And these products help customers, partners, and employees stay connected and productive. A couple of lines on each of these products. LogMeIn Resolve is a modern, unified endpoint management platform that brings remote support, device management, help desk, automation, AI, and everything which an IT of a mid-market customer needs into one proactive IT management platform. We also call it IT in a box. And the second solution, which is LogMeIn Rescue, is an enterprise-grade remote support software designed to securely and easily resolve issues with power and agility and are used by some of the largest enterprises globally. We recently hit a milestone of 1 billion support sessions on Rescue, which is obviously over a period of 2 decades since we launched Rescue in 2005. So that's a quick background about what we do as GoTo and LogMeIn.
Great. Thank you for that introduction, Matthew, and sharing some quick insights around the different solutions and platforms that you're
Yeah.
offering in making IT support more easier and more accessible. And glad to know that the company is a global leader in cloud communication and IT. Some the two important aspects in terms of running a large enterprise. I think that's where your vision and purpose clearly shapes the industry as well as the overall company future as well. Moving ahead, we would also like to, touch down on your role, Matthew. You have been a business leader with around 25 years of experience across sales management, account management, people management, business development, and I think the list is never ending. So, we would like to know more about you. How has the journey been till date? What exactly is your role at GoTo?
Yeah, thanks, Priya. And yeah, it's Now actually nearer to 30 years since I've been in this world, right? But if you look at specifically IT, I've been part of the IT industry since the last 27 odd years, right? At GoTo, I currently lead the global system integrator of the GSI strategy and business, and also I'm responsible for leading the India business for GoTo. And obviously, one of my key charters is to scale partnerships, some of them which are global and some of them which are specifically for India. And I'm also responsible for executing go-to market strategies and delivering growth for India market for GoTo. Overall, like I mentioned, I've been associated with IT industry for more than 27 years, which spans leadership roles at GoTo and Wipro before this, where I've built high-performing teams, led complex go-to-market motions with enterprises and mid-markets, and built and scaled partnerships with OEMs, global SIs, and channel partners. And you would have heard me say the name partners quite a few times over the last minute or two. So personally, I'm very passionate about creating collaborative ecosystems that deliver customer value, accelerate innovation, and drive sustainable growth. And that's exactly what I am doing now at GoTo too.
Great, thank you for sharing that. And of course, I'm really glad to understand the kind of impact you're driving within the organization, and of course, highlighting your passion as well. I think that really translates, how leadership or leaders like you are contributing on the ground on the actual legit real world case scenarios. Let's start our, core discussion with the basics. For years, IT support has been reactive. Something breaks, you file a ticket and you wait. The IT team scrambles, fixes the issue, and life goes on until the next problem. This model worked when operations were simpler, when companies had centralized systems, predictable workflows, and smaller digital footprints. But today, businesses run on distributed environments. We have remote teams, we have hybrid setups, cloud first infrastructure, multiple SaaS platforms, and a workforce that expects seamless connectivity 24 by 7. So I think the old model of IT support, was not only just reactive but also very much manual. So what do you see as the biggest limitations of that approach in today's distributed digital operations?
Sure, Priya. I mean, that's obviously one of the biggest topics of today, right? How do we move from reactive to proactive? So traditionally, as you rightly mentioned, it was completely reactive, right? You solve issues after it happens, as well as it include a lot of manual interventions, which obviously is not suited for today's modern day, always on digital economy. So now coming to the limitations which you have asked me, let me share some of the key limitations I believe with this model, right? The first, obviously, is the lack of agility and scalability. Like traditional IT support is often slower and rigid, making it difficult to keep up with the dynamic needs of today's digital operation. It obviously tends to rely more on manual interventions and is not easily scalable across distributed teams or environments. Now, this limitation is critical as digital operations today span across cloud, remote endpoints, and hybrid work setups where agility is essential. So, I think the first and foremost limitation is lack of agility and scalability. The second is the increased downtime and delayed resolution, which is connected because of more reactive and more manual, right? This reactive break fix approach means problems are addressed only after they occur, as we discussed earlier, which leads to increased downtime for users and disruption to business processes. And this delay is extremely costly in today's always on digital economy. Third is basically your siloed operations, which leads to poor end user experience. Now, if you look at traditional models, were often fragmented with IT teams working in silos, and there's lack of integration. When I say integration, integration between teams, integration between technologies, that was missing. So end users faced inconsistent and slower support, which obviously impacted productivity and user satisfaction. The next could be high operational complexity and cost. Obviously, when you maintain legacy systems and manual processes, they require substantial time, effort, and costs in training, getting the upgrades, and then managing this whole landscape. This complexity grows significantly when supporting distributed digital environments with different endpoints and applications, right? So this is one more point, right? And I think finally, which today is absolutely critical and high focus for most organizations, is security and compliance. And in the traditional model, this is a big challenge because manual systems struggle to keep up with things like security patches, to get in rapid updates and what the compliance requirements are, which are essential for modern digital infrastructure. If we don't keep pace with this, it could expose businesses to vulnerability. So that possibly is one of the biggest priorities why organizations are looking at moving from traditional models to the modern day reactive powered by AI kind of models. So I think that's my view on this, Priya.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you've highlighted some critical challenges that we have been facing with I would say, the old IT support models, because these models often, left teams playing catch up instead of, staying ahead. And in
Yeah.
today's environment, like, the dynamic needs of digital operations, I think, because the digital operations are so distributed and complex today that lag time can really impact both productivity and customer experience. So I think, yes, a lack of agility and scalability has been, I think, topmost challenges for most of the organizations. And I think I completely agree with that. And I think it really sets the stage as to why we need more proactive driven approaches. And I think it's not just a nice to have an approach, but now it has become more like a necessity. So, and that's where I think, AI plays an important role. So we can think of AI as the ultimate IT partner. I mean, unlike traditional systems, AI doesn't just wait for something to break. It anticipates, analyzes, and acts. Now, for example, AI continuously monitors systems, spotting anomalies long before they become full-blown issues. So it's like having a digital guardian that prevents downtime before employees even notice a glitch. So we are moving from lag, waiting on hold, waiting for tickets, or waiting for downtime to end, to lightning fast responses that keep employees' productivity and businesses running smoothly. So, AI in IT support is often described as moving from detection to prevention. So, can you share how GoTo is leveraging AI to fix problems before they even surface?
Sure, Priya. That's obviously AI is today become an integral part of any organization's IT support journey, right? But obviously, the bigger question is what is the kind of quick wins you can have by deploying AI in your landscape, specifically here talking about the support part of it. Now, obviously, you talked about catch up to staying ahead, right? And AI helps you to stay ahead of the problem. And that's what we mean by going from detection to prevention. Now, with GoTo, if I specifically take, we take a practical AI approach, which means building AI that can solve real everyday business challenges that require little setup. It's easy for anyone to use. And by working closely with customers and partners at GoTo, we were able to ensure AI delivers immediate and tangible impact, right? And it's not just about detection and resolution, but also things in between, like how do we make the human life easier by solving everyday issues for the user, at the other end the technician who's supporting the user. Now, when it comes to our products, which I did touch upon briefly in my initial response, LogMeIn Resolve and LogMeIn Rescue brings AI features that simplify IT support, enhance customer support, and cut down on repetitive work so that people can do more productive and meaningful work. Now, let me share some examples, because more important is how do we do it with LogMeIn right now. If we take LogMeIn Resolve, we have an AI assistant called GoPilot that streamlines device diagnostics, patching, scripting, and more through simple conversational prompts. Whereas in Rescue, we have something called an AI screen translation, which instantly translates end user screens into the agent's language, enabling global support at lower cost and with a better experience. Now, we also additionally AI powered device and screen analysis offers real time diagnostics and actionable insights during live sessions, which make the technician's life easier and helps them to be more productive. And like I said, these are some of the ways AI in our solutions help make everyday issues easier or simpler for the technicians. Another example which I could touch upon is of solving everyday issues is our recently launched AI power session summary, right? For all those who are on the service desk side of it would know that at the end of the ticket journey, the technician has to update the session details. Now, this feature automatically generates a comprehensive summary of each support session by a technician by analyzing multiple facets of the session. This can really help reduce efforts of manual documentation by a technician and free their time for meaningful customer engagement, really helping with productivity and compliance. And this expert knowledge, which is getting created, can help then build your automation framework to solve similar issues next time proactively, even before it happens. So the journey from reactive to proactive, at the same time assisting the human to do more meaningful work. Now, this is the various facets of the journey where LogMeIn is building AI into its solutions to solve everyday problems for you.
Definitely. And I think when you mentioned that it's really important that AI delivers real and tangible impact, I think that's when we can call AI as a game changer for IT teams. And I think when AI comes into the picture, there are a lot of productivity gains that we can witness in terms of the IT support and IT operations, specifically when we're talking about smarter operations, because we need smarter operations that scale with business needs. And I think that's where AI comes into the picture, because it's not just AI is increasing the speed, but it's also important that it delivers more real impact in the IT operations. So, of course, when you're talking about IT operations or the overall IT environment, I think as IT environments, they're also growing complex each day, because you have hybrid cloud, the microservices, then you have APIs, and continuous integration, continuous delivery, CI and CD pipelines. So I think a proactive, intelligent approach to monitoring is very critical. Now, traditional IT support, like we mentioned, it's always relied on static tools and manual triage, so leading to slower response times and higher risk of service level agreement breaches. The result eventually is that problems multiply faster, downtime becomes more expensive, and IT teams are stretched thin. And a single outage can cause not just thousands of dollars, but also credibility, customer trust, and employee morale. And in a fast moving IT environments, I think every second of downtime matters. So, like, it's obvious that my next question is something being surrounded around downtime, because it's one of the biggest threats to business continuity. So, how do you think that AI driven IT support can help enterprises to minimize, or even if it's possible, to even eliminate downtime?
Yeah, sure, Priya. I think absolutely, it's a very important point, right? The downtimes have become absolute no, right? And we know what happened in the recent time with the most commonly used word now, which is the blue screen of death, right? BSOD. We realize how many systems went offline and how businesses were impacted globally. So, yes, and AI can play a big role in trying to minimize or possibly even eliminate this downtime. Now, let me quote KPMG report that found that downtime from outages cost businesses average of $9,000 per minute. Right now, that's the kind of impact we are talking about. And taking another quote from a report from New Relic, which says that network failures, cloud provider issues, and human error are among the top causes due to which engineering teams spend nearly a third of their time, about 12 hours a week, managing these interruptions. Right now, if we can avoid them or eliminate them, you can see how much of savings, both in terms of productive hours as well as revenue impact. Right now, what can AI do for this? So by automating repetitive resource heavy tasks, AI lightens the load on IT teams and keeps businesses running smoothly even during downtime. So it is, one is, how do you avoid downtime? Two, can AI lighten the load so that even businesses can continue to run during downtime? So that's the second thought process. Now, how does AI help to eliminate? I would put that into 3 or 4 points, if I may. The first is, like, AI can help with smarter ticketing by categorizing and prioritizing incoming requests. So critical issues are resolved first, while routine tasks are queued up or automated to be resolved on its own. Second, which is follow through from my first point, is routine automation, from password resets to system reboots and troubleshooting via chatbots or RPA tools, right? So automate most of the routine tasks. Third is SLA monitoring, which is important because AI can detect potential breaches, send alerts, and help teams stay on target. And finally, AI can play a big role to strengthen security management and deliver performance analytics, which IT leaders can then act on, especially when it comes to hybrid work environments. So broadly, what I can say is AI plays a critical role on, if I may say, both ends of the spectrum when it comes to specifically on IT support. At the end user who faces the issue, AI assistants can identify the problem, tell the user on how to solve the issue. Alternatively, AI can resolve the issue on behalf of the user by running self-healing scripts as AI learns from the knowledge available on the other end of the spectrum. On the other side, AI can help a technician solve the issue, which is now you had the user, now you have the technician. On the other end of the spectrum, the assistant who's now supporting the technician who's supporting the end user can actually use AI to identify the problem and get information on what is the best possible resolution based on the experience of previous forms how this issue was resolved, right? So I think the AI can help both the user and the technician and help resolve these issues. So I'm on the bigger picture. Yes, like I said, AI can not just minimize but eliminate. At the same time, it can play at both ends of the spectrum by ensuring that any issue which comes up are resolved at the fastest possible time.
Definitely, and I think you've shared some very important and crisp points as to how AI-driven, IT support is helping in minimizing downtime. And overall, I think that's redefining what business continuity looks like in today's era, because it is not just reducing the risk, it's also empowering the IT teams to focus more on strategy and innovation rather than firefighting. So I think
Yes.
in so many ways, it's unlocking new levels of efficiency and resilience as well. Moving ahead, I want to talk about, the other side of the coin, I would say. Now, in the digital age, I think the importance of IT security and compliance cannot be overstated. As businesses increasingly rely on technology for their operations, the need to protect their digital assets from cyber threats become paramount. And in today's interconnected world, digital landscape is constantly evolving. And as businesses increasingly leverage technology to drive their operations, they also expose themselves to a myriad of cyber threats. So this makes IT security not just important, but an essential for any organization operating in a digital space. From
Mhm.
protecting business continuity to safeguarding customer trust, I think it plays a pivotal role in the overall success of a business. So how do you ensure that AI-driven support remains transparent, safe, and compliant with global standards?
Yeah, absolutely, Priya. Again, a very critical question, right? Which is top of mind for every business and every company investing in AI. And we would obviously see this continuing to evolve and be challenged as we move forward. Now, at GoTo, security and compliance are foundational to every innovation, especially in AI-powered support solutions. So let me share a few things we believe in and what we ensure in GoTo. So one is data privacy by design. So GoTo's AI features, including some of the things which I mentioned before, session summaries and diagnostics, are built with strict data privacy protocols. Personally identifiable information, which is PII, is never used to train models, and all data processing adheres to GDPR and other regional regulations. Second, global compliance alignment. We know regional compliances keep evolving. So GoTo continuously monitors regulatory changes across regions to ensure its AI features remain compliant. This includes support for data residency requirements and audit ready documentation for regulated industries. Third, ethical AI governance, which is again a very important point. Now, AI features are developed under GoTo's responsible AI framework, which emphasizes fairness, explainability, and user consent. No decisions are made solely by the AI. Human technician remains in control and transparency. Customers always know when and how AI is being used, right? And user should know where when AI is being used to respond or interact with clear explanation of its role in our products at GoTo. And finally, accountability, oversight, and auditing mechanisms to keep the outputs which are coming in from these interactions with AI in check, with human review built in as and where needed. So finally, from whichever the traction, the human element remains in control. So these are some of the ways we are trying to ensure that AI driven support remains transparent and safe and as per global standards. So that's some of these thoughts around this point, Priya.
Great, Nick. Thank you for shedding light on that, Matthew. And it's reassuring to hear how one organization or one can probably embed these safeguards into their operations, because it's all about accountability and transparency rather than just meeting regulations. I think overall it helps in building that long-term confidence with your users, clients, and even stakeholders. And eventually, I think it's really important that you maintain the right balance between innovation and compliance. And I think that will be the key differentiator for businesses worldwide. So I think with our discussion, it's clear that for businesses, I think the road ahead means rethinking IT not as a cost center but a strategic advantage. And those who embrace AI powered IT support will not only reduce the downtime and related cost, but also helps in more agility and resilience. So, having
Yes.
said that, what's your vision for the next 3 to 5 years in AI powered IT support, and how is GoTo preparing to stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah, again, this possibly is one of the most challenging questions because the pace of innovation, I believe, is so rapid and often unpredictable. It's become so tough to see into the future, right? But I mean, from a perspective, IT environments are obviously becoming increasingly complex and distributed. And obviously, GoTo envisions a future where AI is the backbone of a proactive, intelligence, and secure support operations. And in spite of all the unpredictability of how the future looks, our commitment remains clear and focused. So, some of the areas which I would like to highlight in what we believe in as GoTo is one is which I've talked multiple times is to not to forget the human in the center, right? Which is focusing on using AI to amplify human expertise. So we will continue to build practical AI capabilities that empower technicians, not replace them. Our solutions will help free up experts to focus on complex, high value tasks by automating routine diagnostics, documentation, and resolution workflows, right? And we've discussed some of it in our previous questions too. And the second is predictive resolution at scale, right? Right now, it may not be happening at scale, but we want to keep investing and seeing how do we do this at scale, right? We will invest in AI models and strategic technology partnerships that enable this predictive support models by identifying and resolving issues before they impact users. These capabilities will not just reduce downtime and improve user experience, but also lighten technician workloads. So that's the second. The third, which is the strategic partnerships for global impacts. And this is something I'm personally very closely working with, is to focus on expanding partnerships with leading global system integrators and technology providers. We believe in the better together story, which is collaborating to solve enterprises challenges through joint motions, which include center of excellence and product level integrations that deliver stronger AI-led digital experiences worldwide. And one more point where I believe the next 3 to 5 years, a long time period, but let me say the future would be is to focus on the fast growing mid market space, right? Where technology is going to be an enabler which will help them compete not just on their geo, but at a global stage. Now, if we take India's SME market, where I'm again personally associated with, which is one of the largest and fastest growing SME markets in the world, right, is today viewing at IT as a competitive enabler. And LogMeIn Resolve, which is one of our solutions, which is also, we called it IT in a box, is offering a solution which can help them transform and make them ready to face the global stage when it comes to leveraging technology, right? And this entire thing is powered by the AI, whether it's at the user level or at the technician level. So that's one more point, right? How do we leverage the technology part to enable make meaningful impact to this fast growing segment? And finally, without compromising on security, compliance, and reliability, like you had rightly mentioned, right? The fine balance between innovation and compliance. So whatever we do, we cannot lose the foundation of security, compliance, and reliability. So we keep evolving this as we go into the future to make everything we do more secure and more compliant, right? So that are some of the things which I see would be evolving as we go into the future as AI comes in more and more as an integral part of every solution we build.
Of course, and I think the AI story in IT support is just getting started. As
Yeah.
systems become more autonomous, we will see IT teams shifting from being fixers to being strategic enablers, and they will focus more on designing resilient infrastructure, guiding digital transformation, and of course, ensuring security and compliance, while AI handles the repetitive and time sensitive tasks. So I think as digital operations grow more complex, one thing is clear: organizations that harness AI in IT support will be the ones best equipped to thrive in the coming years. And with players like GoTo leading the charge, I think the future of IT support looks less like a help desk and more like a competitive edge. Well, thank you so much, Matthew, for taking the time
Thanks.
and effort to be on a podcast today, and helping us understand that with AI we are entering a new era in the IT support, where we are heading towards more proactive, predictive, and empowering IT support. Thank you so much. It was lovely chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you, Priya. And it was wonderful talking to you around this. Yeah. And just the point, I mean, it's already happening as we speak, right? Where human agents and AI agents are working together to solve issues, right? So, yeah, the world of AI in the IT support side is looking extremely exciting and wonderful. We could have had a conversation, right? And yeah, and thank you to all the audiences who would be listening into this. So, yeah, thank you. Wonderful having this conversation.
Thank you so much, Matthew. So, this is for our listeners. Thank you for tuning in today's episode of Analytics Insight, and I'm your host, Priya Dayalani. I will see you next time with more insights into the technologies shaping the future of work. You can view all our previous podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.